Today's video will be a bit out of the box because I recently got an opportunity to soak my hands into one of the leading creative AI tool out there called Higgsfield AI. And in this video, I'll showcase what new features they have to offer to all the creative professionals out there. So now with that said, let's get started with the video. First of all, let's try creating different images inside of Higgsfield by using the Nano Banana Pro model. So to do that, we'll simply navigate to the top left option called image. And if you look inside of the image, then there are several features provided in order to make our image generation much more professional and realistic, such as relight feature, an in-paint feature, and more. On the right, there are many models that Higgsfield have provided, starting with the Higgsfield Soul model, which is Higgsfield's own native model, and it can be used to generate ultra-realistic fashion visuals. And at the bottom of it, you can see that we also have the model called Higgsfield Popcorn, which is currently a famous model that helps us to generate an image with consistent characters. However, we'll be using the Nano Banana Pro model for now in order to generate a higher quality 4K images. And in addition to this, there are other high-end models as well in order to generate different images like Seedream 4.5, ChatGPT 1.5 and more. So for this project, I'll simply select Nano Banana Pro right here. And after selecting Nano Banana Pro, now you can see that it has navigated or opened a new image generation UI window. So the user interface is really simple and intuitive. And if you look at the bottom, then we have the same prompt input box similar to other LLM app like ChatGPT. If we navigate to the left, we have the plus icon that allows us to upload up to 14 multiple images that can be used as a reference in order to generate new images. At the bottom, we can also select other available models. So these are all high-end models right now. So for this project, I'll simply select Nano Banana Pro model. And after selecting Nano Banana Pro model, on the right, you can see that we can also select the aspect ratio option. So if you are looking to generate an image to post or use as a social media post, you can select an aspect ratio option like 1:1 or other suitable aspect ratio. However, for now, I'll be selecting 16:9 aspect ratio, which is the appropriate aspect ratio for generating a landscape image. So I'll simply select 16:9 since it will also help us later for creating images that would be in turn used for videos. Now, if we look next to the aspect ratio option, we also have the option to select different quality of how our image should be after we have generated it. So it starts with the option of 1K all the way to the option of 4K. If we select the option of 1K, it will generate images much more fastly and quickly with good resolution. And if we select the option of 4K, it will add much more details inside of the image that is generated. However, it will take much more time to generate. So we'll simply stick with the 2K option because it will generate much more balanced out image. On the right of it, you can see that we can also select the batch size image. And we can select the maximum batch size of 4 in one generation. And batch size refers to the number of images that we want to generate as per a generation. So on the right hand side of the batch size, we have the option for unlimited. And if we turn the option for unlimited on, it will simply put our generations into queue, which will take much more time in order to process. So because of this reason, we will simply turn the option for unlimited off for now. And if you look to the right, there is also another option for draw. So this is one of the amazing feature inside of Higgsfield to generate images, since it will give us much more control and flexibility to play around with our ideas. So if I simply select draw, you can see that it will open a new box right here. And basically what it allows us is, it allows us to input different reference image such as sketch image or objects image that would be used intelligently by this particular model in order to generate new image as per that reference of the image. For example, as you can see here, if we input a sketch, it will generate a new image by taking or considering all the attributes of that sketch, such as position and placement. Now let's navigate to the right and close this particular box. And after closing this particular box, now let's give in an input prompt in order to generate a new image. So to get a new prompt, I'll simply open up and navigate to ChatGPT, and I will give in ChatGPT a simple prompt to generate a prompt that will generate a professional image in order to generate an image of a product inside of Higgsfield AI. So I'll type in a simple prompt. So I have typed in the prompt inside of ChatGPT. Now I'll simply hit return key in order to input the prompt. Now you can see that ChatGPT is processing further and generating the required prompt that we can use in order to generate a high quality image inside of Higgsfield by using the Nano Banana Pro model. Now let's go ahead and copy the prompt like so. And after copying the prompt, let's go back to the Higgsfield UI, and then by navigating below and paste in the prompt inside of the text box. And now after pasting in inside the text box, now let's first of all give in the description of the product. So I'll simply click and drag over this particular placeholder in our prompt and type in the product description. So I'll give in a description of a healthy chocolate and then navigate below and click on generate. After clicking on generate, now you can see that it is processing our prompt, and I'll skip it until the image is generated. Now you can see that a product of the chocolate has been generated, and inside of this generation, there are many useful features as well that is typically available inside of a full-fledged photo studio. For example, if I navigate below and click on this particular option, you can see that there are many features available that are very useful inside of any of the full-fledged photography studio. So the first option is multi-shot. This particularly allows us to generate the same product image in a multi-shot view. There are other useful features as well, such as in-paint, skin enhancer, angles, and more. Now after generating this image, let's check out one of the new feature of Higgsfield, which is Cinema Studio. So I'll navigate to the top and select Cinema Studio, and now it has navigated us into the Cinema Studio UI. So these are the video generations that I tried before, and it has generated very natural video generations. So the basic concept of Cinema Studio feature inside of Higgsfield is a movie studio inside of a computer. That is, we can generate every scene as per our idea and direction, and then stitch them together to create an entire movie or a sequence of clips. So if we look here, then we can also generate an idea by generating different images at the beginning, and then use that image in order to generate small specific clips that could be used to form an overall movie or cinema. And we can also set the quality of the video generation to be very cinematic inside of it. So if we navigate at the bottom, you can see the similar prompt box. However, the options right now are different. If you look at the left, then we have something called the image mode. So basically what it allows us to do is we can give in a prompt right here, and it will generate the image that would be used to generate a video. So as you can see at the top, I've already recently provided a prompt that described Keanu Reeves climbing Mount Everest with Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay Sherpa. And you can see the result here. The quality is simply amazing. If I simply click here, you can notice the quality of the image generated as well as the facial features. The quality is just flawless here. And if you look and observe to the right, you can see the additional information such as the camera used, the lens used, and more information. However, I'll simply close this option for now. Now let's change our mode to the video mode. And inside from the video mode, we can now give in specific image and then give in a prompt to generate the video with the reference to that particular image as a start frame. So if we look at the bottom, then we have an option called movements. If we select the movement option, you can see that we have different options here that enables us to select how our camera movement should be. For example, we have the option starting from static, which refers that the camera is at the idle position. We have handheld option, which simply moves closer slowly towards the subject. We have the zoom out option, zoom in option, and more. So right now for our chocolate image, I'll simply select the zoom in option right here. And now after selecting the zoom in option, I'll simply close this particular option box. And after closing the option box, now the next option that we have is the aspect ratio option. Now there are different options available inside of the aspect ratio option that allows us to set the dimension that we require for our video to be. For example, if we are creating a cinematic kind of video, then we can select the option of 16:9 or 21:9. Since I'm planning to make this particular chocolate image scene for a YouTube video, I'll be selecting the option of 16:9 cinematic. And then we can also set the duration value, and we can set the duration value of either 5 seconds if we want our video to be shorter, and a duration value of 10 seconds if we want our video duration to be longer. So I'll select the duration to be 10 seconds for now. And on the right hand side, we also have the option for audio. So it's basically asking us, do we want audio inside of the newly generated video scene? Since we want a default audio in the generation, I'll simply leave the value as it is. So the next option that we have is slow motion. So right now the slow motion option is turned off. So I'll leave the slow motion option as off for now. And next to the slow motion option, we again have the batch size property that simply allows us to enter the number regarding how many number of generations we want. And we can generate a total number of clips to 4. However, I'll set the value to 1. On the right hand side of the batch property or batch option, we have the start frame option. And as the name implies, for the start frame option, we can simply upload the recently generated image. So I'll simply navigate to the top and select the image generations. And inside of the image generation, I'll simply select the chocolate image that we have generated. After selecting the chocolate image, you can now see that the chocolate image is successfully imported inside of our start frame. Similarly, we can also add an image for the end frame. So for the end frame, what we will be doing is, let's navigate to the left and select the image mode. And inside the image mode, let us generate a new image. So I'll give in a prompt here. So I'll set the image quality to 2K for now, the aspect ratio to 16:9, since it would be perfect size for the image of the chocolate. And I will be setting the batch size value to 1. So if you look at the right, you can also see the option to select different cameras and lens, as well as the option of focal length and aperture. So by default, right now you can see that the option of Arri Alexa 35 has been selected. However, if we do not have much knowledge about the camera, lens, focal length and aperture option, we can simply navigate to the top and select recommended, and we can choose any of the option that has been by default set by Higgsfield AI. So for this, I'll simply set the option of camera to Arri Alexa 35, lens S4, focal length 35 millimeters, and aperture f1.4. So after selecting these settings of our camera, I'll simply navigate below and select the generate button. And now let's wait for the image to be processed. Now you can see that our image has been generated. Now after this, let's navigate back to our video mode, and inside of the video mode, now let's add our end frame image. So you can see that the new confetti image generation has been successfully added here. So I'll simply click on this image and select it. Let's select the end frame, and inside of the end frame, now let's select the recently generated confetti image. So I'll simply select the recently generated confetti image. And now you can see that the chocolate image would be our start frame and the confetti image will be our end frame. So now let's give in a prompt. So to add in a new prompt, I'll simply go back to ChatGPT again and then ask ChatGPT to give me the best prompt in order to create a short clip that would make a transition from chocolate to confetti. So I have successfully provided the prompt to generate a short clip for our start frame and end frame image. So I'll simply hit return or enter, and now ChatGPT is processing a new prompt. Now let's wait for ChatGPT to complete the prompt. Now it has successfully completed the prompt generation. Now let's simply copy the code or copy the prompt and then return back to our Higgsfield UI. Let's navigate below and select the text box to add the prompt, and we'll simply paste in the generated prompt. Now, after we are satisfied with the prompt, let's simply navigate to the right and click on the generate button. Now it is processing to generate a new video with the start frame being the image of the chocolate that we have generated and the end frame being the image of the confetti we have generated inside of the Cinema Studio. Now you can see that our video has been successfully generated. So let us simply click on this particular video in order to play it. Now you can see that the transition of the chocolate to the confetti image is looking very much natural, like a realistic VFX effect has been applied to it. So this is how you can use the available features and advanced AI tools offered by Higgsfield in order to create studio level images and videos. And it is one of the most revolutionizing point where imagination will have no limits. The bridge between independent creators and Hollywood level cinematic creation is now open through Higgsfield's AI cutting edge suite of professional tools. By signing up for the unlimited or creator plans, you can leverage limited 4K generations and the uncensored power of WAN 2.5 to build scenes without any creative boundaries. Take advantages of current promotions offering up to 52% off to access native audio generation, complex whip bands, and flawless text integration for your brand. Whether you are generating 3D style mannequin animations or high fidelity product ads, these workflows allow you to produce premium content at an incredible scale. Visit the link below to create the next generation of cinematic masterpieces.